Hello, William Davis.
Hey, Melinda, how are you doing?
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am good. Thank you. Yeah,
So
well,
I'm going to be driving my slides, and I'm assuming that I just use the down arrow on my keyboard to advance through them.
no worries. We will share your presentation by our end. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2026, William Davis.
Thank you. So how do I go to the next slide? What do I need to do? They asked me to drive my slideshow. So what do I
Yeah,
need to do to go to the next slide?
yeah, please give us a gesture like next slide, move to the next slide like that. So we will change your slides.
That's what I'm asking though. How do I do it? Is it on my keyboard? Do I click something on the screen? What do I need to do?
No, we will change. We will change by our end.
Okay, you'll change it automatically. Okay.
Yeah. Before going to your session, I would like to introduce you to our audience, Davis.
Okay.
Yeah. William Davis, with over 38 years of leadership experience in Fortune 500 companies, he helped organizations build people first leaders through human centered leadership, emotional intelligence, trust, and leadership maturity. An international speaker and author with a 90% plus team retention rate, he developed leaders people are proud to follow. That was a great bio, William Davis, and the stage is all yours.
Okay.
Can you please proceed with your presentation,
Oh, okay.
Davis?
I'm sorry. I thought we were waiting until 1 o'clock. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, everyone. It's great to be here with you today, and so happy that you've been able to attend so many, I know, great speakers through the course of this day and through the remaining week. So I hope this presentation is meaningful to you as we will talk about the DNA of leadership, a subject that is very critical, particularly in this time, not just in the corporate world, but also in our social areas and in our governmental areas. I want to share a story with you as we begin today. And I want you to think about, as I talk about this, how you would have handled the situation that I described. But also, I want you to think about how the best leader that you ever worked for would have handled the situation. And then the worst leader you've ever worked for would have handled the situation. I had a young lady who came to work for me, and she had been working for me for probably 2.5 years. And she was a very good worker. I wouldn't say she was exceptional. She wasn't, the best I had, but she did a lot of good work, was very popular with her teammates, very personable, helped everybody, always on time, always presented her work on time and in good fashion. Then all of a sudden, she started coming into work late. Sometimes it was 10 minutes late, sometimes it was 15 minutes late. And then it began to be 30 minutes late, and then 45 minutes, and then an hour, and then even 2 hours. And it started to have an adverse effect on the team. They were wondering, one, why is she coming in so late? And two, why is she able to get by with that? It became such an issue that obviously, as the leader of the group, I knew that I needed to have some sort of conversation with her to discuss, hey, what's going on? Why are you, uh, you know, taking advantage of, a pretty lenient work schedule that we provided? Well, when I got to talking to her, it became very obvious that there was more going on than just the picture, just the situation that everybody was seeing. And it was something that I needed to get into and to deal with. Now, you may ask, why is this necessarily an important story to go with the topic that we're talking about today? And as they advance to the next slide in our presentation, It's because we are in a world leadership crisis. You go back to 2023, the World Economic Forum in Switzerland came out of their session and said that traditional monetary awards are not sufficient to keep or attract our best talent anymore. Employees want more from their leaders. And the forum emphasized the importance of emotional intelligence, self-reflection, transparency, all things that I talk about in various other sessions that I do. But the big thing that came out of this were leaders were encouraged to listen and build bridges across the divides that they had with their employees. There was obviously a gap there. The same year in the United States, the US News and World Report Harris poll came out and said that 80% or 86% of the Americans that were surveyed responded that they were disappointed in their leaders. 84% said that they were disappointed in their leaders in government. But the point that really came home to me was the fact that 78% of those responding said that they felt like we had a leadership crisis in corporate America. As I've traveled the world and I've talked to various crowds, what's amazing to me is these statistics that I just shared with you resonate with the crowds that I talk to around the world. They will come up to me after sessions and say, "Yeah, William, that's exactly what we feel like. That's exactly what we see." And so the question that we have to ask ourselves today is, since we're in a leadership crisis, how are leaders responding, not just to the crisis, but also to the people that they have underneath them themselves? And where does this disconnect come from? And how do we address it? When I started my business a little over a year ago, I felt like I had to define in my mind what is leadership. Well, it's the intentional practice of building genuine relationships, demonstrating sincere empathy, and inspiring people to become their best. Because real leadership is and will always be about people. And you can just say it's about your people, but I actually extend that to others that I work with because I feel like I have a responsibility to help them be their best. This is the way that I guided my people through my 40-year career. And the reason that I bring this up and the reason that I point it out is not to brag, but because I was able to, following this mentality, this philosophy, was able to maintain a 90+% retention rate of my people throughout my whole career. Next slide, please. So, when we talk about leadership, we talk about the disconnect. We have to ask ourselves, why is our leadership failing? Well, I would submit to you today that one of the reasons that our leadership fails is because of how we choose leaders. Oftentimes, we look at somebody who's been there 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years and say, oh, well, they've been here the longest. They ought to now be a leader. And that's not necessarily true because the mentality that they have in regards to their job, hey, their desire in their career may not be such that it works for them to be a leader. Oftentimes, we'll look at them and the success that they'll have on a single project or maybe a group of work and say, well, they did such a great job there. Hey, they're the ones that we need to be a leader in our organization. Well, again, the first thing you need to ask them is, do you want to be a leader? Because if they don't want to be a leader, guess what? Their leadership will fail. But then I think the one that we have a lot of concerns with, and one that seems to happen often, is somebody will have a favorite person. Nepotism, we call it. Somebody that's a friend, somebody that's a ally, somebody that they owe a favor to. And, oh, a leadership role came up, and I'm going to put them in there, regardless of whether they have the ability, the talent, or again, the desire to be a leader. No, see, the real problem is leadership fails not at the technical level. And again, we have so much technical knowledge these days because of advancements in systems. But the technical knowledge is not the problem. The problem relies at the relationship level. We promote people for what they know, not how they lead, and most importantly, not how they interact with others. The title may change for those people as we promote them up, but do their skill sets come along with them? Next slide, please. Again, I mentioned what I'm sharing with you today is not theory. It's not based upon studies. It's not based upon academic research. It's based upon my 40-year career of how I dealt with my people and what I found successful. And what I wanted to do when I began this business a year ago was I want to help people understand, guys, leadership is simple, but simple's not easy. You have to want to be a leader in order to be successful. Next slide. So there's three things in the short amount of time that I would normally go over with you. And we're just going to get to one today, the build real relationships. And if you ever want to hear the rest of my session on exhibit sincere empathy and inspire and motivate, it goes very well along with the concept of building real relationships. But I want to focus specifically today on building real relationships because to me, in my career, that was the number one thing that allowed me to be successful with my people. I normally, if I'm in front of a crowd and I can see them, I will ask you a very simple question. Are you in a relationship? And it's always funny because everybody kind of gasps and thinks, oh, you can't ask that question. Well, I'm not asking you about your personal relationship. I'm not asking you if you're dating. I'm not asking if you're married. But I want to know, are you in a relationship? And the answer comes from, do you have family? Yes. If you have family, you're in a relationship. Do you have friends? Yeah. If you have friends, you're in a relationship. You see, when we look at how we nurture and take care of the relationships that they have with family and friends, we need to look at our relationships with the people that we work with, and particularly the people that report to us, in the same fashion. How do we help those survive? How do we help those thrive? And how do we make those where they are beneficial to the people that we are leading, but also to ourselves and the organization that we work for? So let's dive into building real relationships and let's talk about the concepts behind that I utilize. Next slide, please. When you think about relationships that you have in your life, those are built on some sort of commonality that you find between you and the person that you're in the relationship with. If it's family, obviously you have blood relationships. You have a commonality because you're related and you have the ability to uh, find common interests and common memories and common uh, things that you like to do together. And so you're basing that upon the fact that it's something that you enjoy with that person. The same thing comes along with when we talk about friends. Why do we have certain people as friends? Well, it's because we have something in common. We have likes, dislikes, hobbies, food maybe. We like certain foods. I always find people that like Schlotsky's, which is a sandwich place here in the United States. I love that place, and I will go with anybody to that restaurant. But we're always searching for people that we can be involved with because of something we enjoy together. And sometimes it's just found out by something that you two do together. My wife has friends that she does crocheting with or sewing with. Again, another commonality that we can find together. So, when I talk about building relationships in the corporate world in particular, you as a leader, when you become a leader, you have to understand that your people are now your responsibility. I've often been asked, well, what do you do? Well, I lead my people. Take me out of the equation and see how well that group functions together, because I am there to help them succeed, work together, thrive. And so don't ever let anybody mistake leadership as something to be just discounted, because it's not. It's incredibly important, and your organization, your team can't function without you in that role. But you are dealing with other people. And when you think about dealing with other people, you are now trying to think about it from a marriage perspective. When two people come together to be married, do they have common backgrounds? Maybe to some degree, but you're uniting two people together that have different backgrounds, different ways of being raised, different experiences, and they come together, and over the course of what is hopefully a very long marriage, they have the need to be able to interact and to get along and be able to work out differences. And that's the same thing we have in the corporate world. When you bring a team together and you're leading them, you've got all sorts of personalities. However many people you have on your team, that's the number of different personalities you're dealing with. And so not only do you have to get along with them and be able to make that relationship work, but then you have to be able to let them be able to work together and make that relationship work. So the way I always did that, and I think it is absolutely critical, is you have to, when you're dealing with your people, you have to know them. I mean, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about building genuine relationships, not fake interest in who they are and what they do, but get to know them at a very uh, the very lowest level possible in regards to their circumstances and their life and their likes and their dislikes. Let me give you an example. I had a young man who came to work for me. He was just an absolutely hilarious kid. He joked all the time, but he was incredibly nervous. And whenever I would call him into my office, he'd always come in and was like, "Am I going to get fired? Am I in trouble?" I'm like, "No, man, I just hired you. You're not you're not in trouble. You're not going to get fired." And so one day he came in and I said, "Look, what do you like to do when you go outside of the office?" Well, he loved to golf. And this was 31 years ago. So at that time, I still golfed. And I said, "Great. You know what? You and I, tomorrow, we're going to take the afternoon off. We're going to go and we're going to golf all afternoon." And, the shock was, "Can we do that?" And I said, "Well, yeah, you work for me. I'm your boss, and we're going to go." So when we got to the golf course, um, we had to rent a cart, and so I made him drive, which again made him just incredibly nervous. And I'm like, "Man, you're going 2 miles an hour. We're not going to crash. We're not going to hurt ourselves. Just drive." And so the first 3 or 4 holes that we were golfing, it was very tense. He was very nervous. And on the fourth hole, I got up and I hit a tee shot and I sliced that ball so badly out into the woods. I don't think they ever found it. And I could tell from behind, he was looking at me like, how is he going to react? Because some people, when they golf, they get real upset. They'll curse or scream or yell or break a club, throw a club, whatever. And he wanted to see my reaction. And so I just turned around and looked at him. I said, "You know what? I want you to know that I hit that shot so badly just so you'd feel better about your golf game." And at that moment, I started laughing. And it was just like a curtain fell down between us. And he started laughing. And he saw that I was really, truly interested in him as a person, and that I was able to be able to relate to him in aspects of life and to be able to have fun and to just relax and get to know each other. And by the time we were done golfing that day, you would have thought we had known each other 20 years because our relationship had changed so much just in that 4 hour period of time. So from then on, whenever I called him into my office, he was always excited. Hey, I've got this idea, or I think we could do this. And, or was always inquisitive about, hey, why do we do this? How do we do this? And it was all because of the fact that I now had created that genuine relationship with him that was so important to him. There was another girl that worked for me. And when she interviewed with me, I mean, she was outstanding. I knew at the moment that I started talking to her that she was going to be the perfect fit for my group. But once she came to work for me, everything she did from a work product perspective always came to me with a, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And I finally went to her and I said, You walk every day, right? At lunch? And she goes, Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, Okay, can I go with you today? And she's like, Sure. So we were working on a campus, had a beautiful lake. We just walked around, and walking is not exactly my favorite activity. So it was something that I was doing because she enjoyed it and I knew it would relax her. And about the third time around the lake, I just stopped her and I said, Can I ask you a question? She goes, Sure. And I said, Why in everything that you do you send it to me and ask me if it's okay? I said, I trust you. I don't need to give you that kind of reinforcement. And she all of a sudden just started crying. I'm like, Uh-oh, what did I say? And she goes, The guy that I first worked for out of college, because I was the second boss she ever worked for, was such a micromanager that everything I did, I always had to run it past him and get his approval. And he was all the time taking what I did and redoing it and sending it back to me and telling me to fix this and fix that and fix that. And so I said, That's not me. I trust you. I respect the work that you do, and I allow you to do the work in the best manner in which you think is needed. And the look on her face was something that she just couldn't comprehend because she'd never experienced that before. But you see, when you're dealing with people that work for you, you have to consider that there are past experiences that may be baggage for them that you're going to have to deal with and you're going to have to work through. And so the only way you're ever going to know that is by building those genuine relationships with your people. And the only way you're going to do that is by coming to a level of comfort with them where they can let go. They can show you who they really are. You don't have to be completely interested in what they were doing. Again, I didn't like walking, but I walked with her because it was something she enjoyed, it something that relaxed her, something that made her feel at ease. I wanted her to see me at the same level that she saw herself, not as a boss, not as somebody that's higher in the food chain than her. I wanted her to see me on the same level so we could get to know each other and I could do a better job of leading her. Guys, that's the kind of relationship I'm talking about. And it takes work and it takes time. And the thing I would tell you is you have to be sincere about it because there is nothing that your people will recognize quicker than if you are insincere. And once they see you're insincere or perceive you to be insincere, you have absolutely a horrific time trying to recover in that relationship. Now, let's go back to the girl that I started the discussion with you about. She loved to drink coffee every day. So one day she came in and she was probably about an hour and a half late. And I said to her, I said, Have you gone and gotten coffee yet? She goes, No, no, I haven't. And I said, Well, can I go with you today? And she goes, Yeah, 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 come on. So we went down and I said, Hey, just take a seat at that table. I'll go buy our coffee. And so I went and I bought our coffee. And I brought it back to her and I just set it down in front of her and I sat down, didn't look at her, but I just simply said to her, "What's going on?" And the emotions just came pouring out from her. And what I came to understand was she, again, a young lady in her mid to late 20s, was dealing with her mother who was going through hospice. Let that sink in. My parents passed away when I was in my 50s. She was in her late 20s and she was fixing to lose her mom. But see, she was trying to balance the personal and the business aspect of her lives all by herself. And what I brought up to her is you do not have to do this alone. We're here for you. And she goes, I just don't know what to do. And I said, well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go back, you're going to pack your desk up, and you're going to go home because family's first. Your mom's care is first. We'll take care of the things that occur here at work that you need help with. We'll take care of the things that you may not be able to get to, but mom comes first. See, if I hadn't had a genuine relationship with her, I would have never understood that that coming in late wasn't just a sign of disrespect. I knew that there had to have been something more going on because this was not her character. This was not who she was. When we talk about building genuine relationships with your people, it's work. It takes time. And it's going to be a process where you're going to do things that you may not have ever done before, going to eat at a restaurant you've never ate at or whatever. But can I tell you that there is nothing more worthwhile than building that genuine relationship with your team so that in the good times and in the bad times, you guys are able to come together and be able to get through anything you face. It helps build trust. It helps build camaraderie. It helps build good feelings, not just about people as they come to work, but about themselves when they go home. Hey, I've done something today. I've accomplished something today. I'm important to somebody today. And when they come back in tomorrow morning, they're not dreading coming into the office. They desire to be there. And most importantly, when you have to have those tough conversations, when things go bad, you're able to go to those people and they know that you are coming to them from a place of sincerity because you are invested in them. You have taken the time to really get to know them. And when you have to correct them, it it's not coming from a place of trying to throw them under the bus or undermine them, but they know you care. I've written a couple of books that I have shared the QR code with you here on screen. One talks about the difference between being a boss, being a leader, or being a manager and being a leader. And that kind of is a framework for this beginning of what we were talking about today. But then the second book is really dives in a lot deeper into building those genuine relationships. And it's a roadmap, if you will, of how I built my career and how I dealt with my people throughout. So I hope that this has been valuable to you. I hope if you're interested that you can go and purchase those books and read them and again make them a part of something that helps you build your career and be successful as you continue forward. I will open it up to any questions anyone has.
Yes, William Davis, that was a great presentation. And we have a few questions from our audience. I would like to ask one of them.
Sure.
Yeah. What is the one leadership habit everyone should start today?
Well, I think the one leadership habit everyone should start today is to start establishing that personal relationship with your team. Call them together and say, guys, I want us to improve our relationship, not just me to you, but you to each other. And we're going to start looking at this from a relationship perspective, not just from a work perspective. One of the things I always try to do is I try to at least once a month get my team out and let's do something fun together outside of the office. And it may have been only at lunch, but again, something to where they were able to see that, hey, this is not just what's in it for you, right? Or what can I do for the corporation? But again, you really care about me. You really are invested in me.
Yeah. We have a one more question.
Yes.
Why do you believe leadership is in the crisis state?
I believe it's in a crisis state because people do not understand what true leadership is about. Again, we are in a world where everything seems to come down to the corporate profit. How much money can we make? And again, it's the what have you done for me lately mentality when we look at our people. And that's not the relationship that we need to have when we deal with our people. We need to see them as human beings that have real dreams, have real ambitions, have real goals, but they also deal with real crises and real things in life that cause them to not necessarily perform their best. And we need to be able to support them, not just through the good times, but through the bad times. So when they come out on the other side, they've not damaged themselves personally or from a career perspective.
Yeah. Thank you, Davies. Thank you for answering all the questions.
Thank you, guys. If you want to leave a review or ask more questions, you can go to my website, which is the QR code on the right hand side there.
Yeah. Thank you. Please stay on the backstage and join the next session,
Thank you.
William
Uh-huh.
Davies.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.